Hello everybody, James here. I've just got done recording with Stevie Richards. I was about to call it a day, but then this little bit of news came up and I was very interested to read it to you. Not really particularly anything for me to add. I just wanted to bring it up really and do a little video on it because on the Stevie Richards show, we were just talking about basically the casting couch culture in pro wrestling and specifically WWE. Now this is in response to the Bret Hart allegations. I mean, they may be pretty laughable. That whole Shawn Michaels, Vince McMahon claimed that they were lovers backstage, and that's why Shawn got the quote-unquote push, and Bret Hart didn't. Maybe a poor choice of words, but there you go. But anyway, I'm mentioning this because another piece of news came up, and I just wanted to read it to you, and this involves Becky Lynch, in fact. She was on the, what's he called? What was it called? Brett Kirshner YouTube channel. Anyway, if you haven't heard the guy or the name doesn't ring a bell to you, the video might do because it's the fat guy who makes people dinner and then interrupts them every 4 seconds while they're trying to tell an interesting story. So I'm doing you a favor by not actually playing the video. I'm not going to play the video for numerous reasons, but that's the reason. But I am going to give you the quote from Becky Lynch. This was Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Lynch said, at the time, it was stay away from the boys, don't go near the boys. If not going to name names, I'm not going to name names, but there was a guy on the main roster who it was like, be careful because one, he'll try to sleep with you. If he sleeps with you, then he'll blacklist you. At this point, Krishna really gets annoying. And then Lynch continued, and then if he tries to sleep with you and you don't sleep with him, he'll also blacklist you. So there was this line that you had to walk, this tightrope. You know him definitely, is when Brett asks, do I know the name? And then Becky says, you definitely know him. At one point, this mystery person got my number, and I remember being like, how do you walk this line? There was always this thing of, if you get into a relationship and things go south, they're not going to fire the guy, they're always going to fire the girl. So it was a very scary, precarious thing, and Crusher jokingly added that would be so upsetting if they fired the guy. So anyway, that's where it's from. But, it does happen. It has happened a lot of times in wrestling. And once again, we were talking about the casting couch culture. I'm sorry, I text someone asking who they thought it was, and I've not got an answer yet. But Becky Lynch went to WWE, the main roster, in 2015. So now this isn't speculation time, but I was wondering, I was just looking at all the dudes on the damn roster, and I was thinking how many people actually on the roster would have enough sway to actually blacklist a woman if, whether they turned down the advances or it was probably Dutch, actually, I think, considering Zeb Colt's right at the bottom. But there you go. I was just looking at the roster and thinking there's got to be quite, only a few people who would actually have that much sway in the company. But once again, because we were talking about the weird fan with the AI thing with AJ Lee, and, people surrounding women at airports more than the blokes, to get the autographs and stuff. And it just goes to show, even with the women's revolution happening in 2015, 2016 in WWE, man, did it... here we go. No, I'm sorry. I was reading Seth Rollins. I was reading the year 2018, 2019 there, but no, that's when Seth Rollins was trying to date each other, I guess, and Rollins was going through what he described at the time as an existential romantic crisis, and Lynch was helping him get through it. But yeah, it just goes to show you that being a woman in wrestling over these decades, it was a lot more difficult than you would have thought, and if you get even in the crosshairs of the wrong person, no matter what you do, you could find yourself without a job. So I just wanted to make a little video on that, shake my head at it a little bit, and that's pretty much it. So I'll see you for the next video.